Hello friends, now let us continue the second side, asset side of our balance sheet. As per the Schedule 3 of Companies Act, we have understood in our last class the liability, equity and liability side of the balance sheet. Of that, the main head and the subhead. Today we are going to understand the asset side of balance sheet, the second part of balance sheet. Assets. Assets are written with the main title, point number 2. The assets, it is known as a balance sheet head. Okay, first is the liability, equity and liability side is also known as a balance sheet head, and asset is also known as a balance sheet head. So if you have observed the illustration, the main account is given and then the three columns are there. One is the balance sheet head, whether it is equity and liability or a asset. Second column, third column is for the main head, and the fourth column is of the subhead. So today now we do the balance sheet asset side. So the main second column, yours is the asset side, is known as a balance sheet head. Now in that we have the two sections. One is the non-current asset and another one is the current assets. So two sections are there. In the non-current asset, we have again the further subsections. Four subsections are there. First we see the non-current asset. In that part, point number 1, fixed asset. Fixed asset is known as a subhead. That is the column numbers I have written. Accordingly, you have to answer in your question, whatever is asked. So fixed asset, as you know, the fixed asset are those which are purchased by the company for the consumption. These assets are not meant for sale. These assets are invested in the business. The capital invested in these assets are for the longer period of time, and the huge amount of capital invested in the fixed asset. So we have learned the meaning of fixed asset in our class 11 introductory lessons only. These fixed assets are divided into two, tangible asset and intangible asset. The tangible assets means which you can see, feel, touch, and the assets which are visible. In that you have land and building, plant and machinery, furniture, vehicle, tools and equipments, and the leasehold assets. These all are to be called a tangible asset. Then you have the intangible asset, which cannot be seen with the naked eyes, which cannot be felt. So existence of these assets are identified as goodwill you may have, patent you may have, trademark, copyright, the license, and the software and the franchises. If you have taken a franchises of any particular well-known, you can say the business, that franchises is also your one of the asset. In class 11 BO, we have learned the meaning of franchises. You may have taken a franchisee for the McDonald's or Pizza Hut, like that. So these are your intangible asset. So first, non-current asset. In that you have the fixed asset as a main part. Now the second subhead is a non-current investment. The investment which are more than 12 months. Investment which you have done for more than 12 months are known as a fixed portion of investment. Here you have provident fund investment. Whatever provident fund you have collected from the employee's salary, this is to be invested somewhere into the treasury of provident fund, government, central government fund. So provident fund investment, debenture redemption fund investment. As you know that you have to redeem the dividend. So we have kept aside a certain amount for the redemption of such dividend. So that fund also to be invested somewhere. Otherwise you are going to spend it at any other place. Then the shares of the subsidiary company. Any other subsidiary company shares if you are holding, that is your asset. The shares and debentures of other company, not a subsidiary but any other company. You may have a fixed deposit, government securities and mutual fund. Nowadays, as you know, Sensex is more than 50,000 unit. So in that case, all are tempted to invest into stock market or into mutual fund. So you may have the mutual fund. So here these are your non-current investment more than 12 months. The third category is long-term loans and advances. The loans and advances which are given by us to someone. Again the condition is more than 12 months. This will come under your subhead. Which are the items? One is that loan to the employees. Second is that is the custom deposits what you have given. Then the telephone deposit you have given. Electricity deposits you have given. All the deposits which you have given are your asset. So long term loans and advances is one of the asset category. Fourth important point is that other non-current asset. So this is going to be your subhead. Which are the assets you have? Debenture discount more than 12 months. Again, because it is a long term, more than 12 month condition has to be fulfilled. You have advertisement campaign expense to be written off. Again, for more than 12 months. After the more than 12 months, you are going to write off the advertisement campaign expense. Then the research and development expenditure again which to be written off for more than 12 months. So all the three things which you are going to show on the asset side which to be written off. We have learned one concept of deferred revenue expenditure. Even though it is an expenditure, we treat as an asset. So these are the items belong to that non-current asset. Now the second most important section, one non-current asset we have seen. Now we see the current investment and the current asset. Current assets means the assets which are less than 12 months. So non-current asset is one section. In that 4 groups were there. Current asset have 6 groups in the current asset. The very first is the current investment. The current investment become your subhead. In that you have the shares and debentures of the other company. You have the marketable securities what you are holding which you can at any time encash into cash in the market. So marketable securities, government securities if you are holding, and units of mutual fund that what you are holding which can be redeemed at any time. In 3 working days you will get your money back. So all this because converted into cash quickly known as a current asset. The second category is inventories. Inventories means stock. The various forms of stock. The raw material as well as the semi-finished goods, finished goods, goods in transit, that is what your inventory is. So first is that is the stock of raw material. Second is stock of semi-finished goods means still in the process, not converted fully into final stock. Stock of the finished goods, unsold goods which is lying there in your stores, in your logistic department. Stock in trade. The stock which is in transit, it is on the way, neither to be called as in the factory campus nor already switch over the ownership to the actual buyer. So still on the way. The loose tools and the spare parts, that what you have in your campus. Then you can say that consumable stores, whatever consumable stores you have kept in the business for your consumption. Goods in the transit. Again, the goods which are on the way and in the transit, it is yet to be converted, ownership yet to be transferred from one person to another. So all these categories are of your inventories. The next is that is the trade receivable. Trade receivable become your subhead. In this you have the debtors, the party from whom you have to receive the money for the credit sales, and the bills receivable, that is the negotiable instrument which you have received from your debtors towards the payment. So that also your asset. Next is cash and cash equivalent. The money which can be either on the hard cash or easily converted into cash form. So in this category you have cash on hand, bank balance, and the checks and draft on hand. which you have received but not handed over to the bank. So you have in your hand as an asset. The next is short-term loans and the advances. Here we have seen that is the long-term loans and advances more than 12 months. And here you have short-term, that is less than 12 month loans and advances given by the company. In this category you have loan advance given, advance to the supplier. When you have booked your order, you have given consolidated money as an advance payment. So this is the short-term loans and advance. The last current asset is that you can say other current asset, which normally we used to record as an adjustment. Prepaid expenses, expense paid in advance, income due but not received, the due income yet to be received by you. All these adjustments we have done in our partnership example also. The advertisement campaign expenditure to be written off during 12 months. Here we have seen advertisement campaign expense to be written off more than 12 months, while here it is during the 12 months. Debenture discount to be written off again during the 12 months. And the research and development expenditure to be written off during the 12 months. So when these type of deferred revenue expenses to be written off during the year will come under the category of other current asset, and which are to be written off in future in a longer period of time. All those will come under the category of your other non-current asset in the one of the part of your non-current asset. So this manner you have to memorize and you have to remember that which particular account will come in the balance sheet on which particular place. See, I am going to put a snap of this both assets as well as equity and liability for you, for your reference, so that easy for you to remember. You need to go through every day, then only all the places will fix in your mind. So it will help you, that photo will help you to memorize your position of equity and liability section 1, and today what we have discussed is the asset section number 2. This all about our Companies Act as per the Schedule 3 of the Companies Act 2013. Today what we have discussed, you will get the illustration 6 and 7 in your textbook. You will get the classification for your reference, and question number 3 of your textbook on page number 149. That also you can easily solve with the help of this particular understanding. So this is how we have finished with the small question which are asked, the classification of the various head into the balance sheet of companies, of any company. Next class onwards we will learn first the profit and loss account, its a format, then we continue with the example. Thank you.